Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by wide fields, tall trees, and dusty roads, there lived people who believed they had seen everything life could offer. The village was not rich, but it was peaceful. Everyone knew each other's name, each family shared stories under the moonlight, and nothing truly surprising ever happened there. Until the day a stranger arrived. His name was Kamau. No one knew where he came from. Some said he had traveled across many lands. Others believed he had worked in distant cities where fortunes could be made overnight. But what made people talk was not just his mysterious past. It was the way he carried himself. Calm, confident, and always smiling as if he already knew something the rest of the village did not. At first, the villagers welcomed him like any guest. In small places, new faces bring excitement. Children followed him through the dusty streets. Elders observed him quietly. And the young women of the village could not help but notice him. Among them was a woman named Amina. Amina was known throughout the village for her kindness and quiet strength. She was the eldest daughter in a respected family. Her father owned fertile land, and her mother was admired for raising 5 daughters who were all intelligent and beautiful in their own way. When Kamau met Amina for the first time at the village well, something changed. People noticed it immediately. Their conversations lasted longer than expected. Their smiles lingered, and soon whispers began spreading across the village paths. Not long after that, Kamau visited Amina's family home. In the village tradition, a man only visited a family with such seriousness when he had an important intention. That evening, the elders gathered. Tea was poured. Silence filled the room as Kamau spoke clearly and respectfully. He wanted to marry Amina. The family looked at each other with surprise, but also curiosity. Kamau appeared responsible, confident, and unusually successful for a man who had just arrived. After several meetings and long discussions, the family agreed. The wedding was one of the most beautiful celebrations the village had seen in years. Music filled the air. Neighbors danced. Children ran between the guests laughing and shouting. Everyone believed Amina had made a wonderful choice. For a while, it seemed they were right. Kamau treated her well. He worked hard, and slowly, he began building a reputation as a man who knew how to make money. Within months, he expanded his farm, bought animals, and started trading goods with nearby towns. But one evening, several months after the wedding, Kamau returned to Amina's father with another request. At first, no one could believe what they heard. Kamau asked for permission to marry Amina's younger sister. The room fell silent. Her father stared at him, unsure if he had misunderstood. The mother covered her mouth in shock. Even Amina herself struggled to understand what was happening. In their culture, a man marrying more than one wife was not unheard of. But marrying 2 sisters from the same family, that was something else entirely. The family hesitated, but Kamau spoke calmly. He explained that he loved the family deeply and wanted to unite their households even more strongly. He promised stability, wealth, and protection for everyone. Days passed with heavy discussions. Eventually, after pressure, persuasion, and promises of prosperity, the family agreed. The second wedding happened quietly compared to the first. This time, the villagers did not celebrate as loudly. Instead, they whispered. Some said Kamau must be blessed with unusual fortune. Others felt uneasy but could not explain why. Months turned into a year. Then something happened again. Kamau returned with the same request. He wanted to marry the 3rd sister. By now, the entire village was watching closely. The story had spread beyond their community into nearby towns. People came just to see the family everyone was talking about. The third wedding happened, then later, the fourth. With every ceremony, the whispers grew louder. Some villagers believed the sisters were lucky to share a wealthy husband. Others believed something deeply unnatural was unfolding before their eyes. Despite the rumors, Kamau's wealth continued growing. He built the largest house the village had ever seen. Its walls were taller than any other building. Its roof shined in the sun. Inside were rooms filled with furniture, fabrics, and decorations no one in the village had ever owned before. All four sisters moved into that house. At first, life seemed comfortable. They had food, clothing, and security. From the outside, people saw a powerful household. But inside, emotions slowly began to change. Living together as wives of the same man was not as easy as anyone imagined. Small disagreements appeared, jealousy whispered quietly in conversations, and each sister began wondering if Kamau truly loved them equally. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. The youngest sister had been watching everything from the beginning. She had seen her older sisters marry one by one. She had heard the gossip of the villagers and the tension growing inside the house. One evening, Kamau approached the family again. This time, his request was even more unbelievable. He wanted to marry the fifth sister. The room felt heavy with disbelief. Even the father, who had agreed to the previous marriages, struggled to respond. The mother looked at her daughters, searching for answers. But before anyone else spoke, the youngest sister made a decision. She said yes. Some villagers claimed she had always admired Kamau. Others believed she felt pressure to follow the path already created by her sisters. Whatever the reason, the fifth wedding took place. Now all five daughters of the same family were married to the same man. For a short time, Kamau appeared more powerful than ever. His household attracted attention everywhere. People spoke his name with curiosity and disbelief. But power built on fragile foundations rarely lasts. Inside the large house, tension had reached a breaking point. Arguments that once stayed hidden behind closed doors began spilling into the open. Old resentments surfaced. Sisters who once protected each other now questioned each other's intentions. One night, during a heated disagreement, something important was revealed. A truth that had been quietly growing behind the scenes. Kamau had never married the sisters because of love. From the very beginning, his plan had been about control. Each marriage gave him stronger influence over the family's land, their connections, and their position in the village. By tying himself to every daughter, he had secured power that no outsider could normally achieve. When the sisters realized this, the illusion finally broke. The wealth, the promises, the attention from the village, it had all been part of a larger ambition. One by one, trust disappeared. Arguments turned into separation. The once impressive household became known not for its strength, but for its conflict. The villagers who once watched with fascination now watched with quiet understanding. Eventually, the powerful home Kamau built no longer felt like a place of unity. The same walls that once symbolized success now carried the echoes of regret. And slowly, the man who once believed he had gained everything began losing the respect he had worked so hard to build. The village never forgot what happened. Years later, elders still told the story to younger generations, not as gossip, but as a lesson. Because sometimes, ambition disguises itself as love. Sometimes power hides behind generosity. And sometimes, the choices that look impressive in the beginning reveal their true cost only much later. The story of the man who married 5 sisters became one of the most talked about lessons in that village, not because of the weddings, but because of what came after.